Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we'll be taking a look at one of our viewers' send-ins. This is a Gamemax power supply. This is the RGB 550W Gold, sent in by Marshmallow Cookie from our Discord. Thank you very much, first of all, I'd like to say. Obviously we have reciprocated with some other goods as well, so it's not a completely one-sided transaction. But I thought what I'd do is go through today, have a quick look at the power supply, give you my impressions of it, and go through some of the specifications, the cables, etc, etc. For me, actually, this looks like a pretty decent power supply, but we won't know until we see more. So keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video, we'll be taking a look at Gamemax's RGB 550W. This is a 80+ rated gold power supply with active power factor correction. We've got 91% efficiency, obviously gold label. It's got a single 12-volt rail, which gives up to 550 watts across the board. Also, we've got some really nice flat black cables, and we've got 100% quality caps that support up to 105 degrees. So yeah, pretty good specs so far. Got all the usual things like over voltage protection, under voltage protection, etc, etc. I'll put some links in the video description so you can see the full spec from the Gamemax website. Actually, you can probably see most of it flickering by on the screen in the background. Anyway, let's get into it. So other key features of this, other than it being 80+ gold, also has a 140mm smart addressable RGB fan, which potentially you've already seen from some B-roll already. Does look really nice, and a feature they've added to this now, which wasn't on a previous model of this, is the fact that now on the back we've got this button to cycle through the RGB settings, of which there's about 15 or 20 of them, so there's probably going to be something which you're going to like. And also they've actually added a new microchip into this, so it actually remembers the settings. So if you don't use the power supply for a little while, or you leave it switched off, when you turn it back on the next time, it's going to remember your last addressable RGB setting, which is absolutely brilliant, because basically this is going to be a real pain in the ass to get to once you've got it inside your PC, you've got your PC into your cabinet or whatever, and yeah, you don't want to be reaching around to try and find the button to change it every single time, so that is absolutely awesome. Also, some of the other features which they've upgraded on this particular model, we've now got up to around about 40% extra ventilation, which has been achieved by adding extra ventilation on the side section here, and on here. Obviously we've got a full mesh on the back, and we've got the larger fan as well, which the previous version was a 120mm fan. So with the extra fan, extra ventilation, this is going to keep the power supply nice and cool. So while we're talking about the ventilation and the size, etc., let's take a closer look. So on this side, you've got the Gamemax logo, and you've got some kind of RGB streams there. These aren't illuminated or anything, they're just printed on. You've got the 550W on there as well. The ventilation on the top there. On this section, we've got all the cable connections, so you've got it actually really nicely laid out. Even with old man eyes, I can read these absolutely fine. And for those of you that can't, I will put some pictures on the screen so you can see it a little bit clearer. But essentially it's broken down into the main categories. So we've got your motherboard selection here. We've got our IDE and SATA connections on this side. We've got color-coded CPU ones, which is absolutely brilliant, because quite often we do get on the Discord people who've wired up their first PC, and unfortunately they've plugged in their PCI Express cable into the motherboard for the CPU power and vice versa, which prevents the system from booting, etc, etc. So having a little bit of color coding on here is really beneficial, especially to newbies. On the other side there is another label, so this is the 80+ gold again, highlighting that fact, and the RGB version. On the top we've got this sticker giving you all the specifications, so let's give you a quick close-up of that. You can see now as well, there is a little bit of a downside of the 550W rating. It isn't actually taken from the single 12-volt rail, which is becoming more popular these days. So this is going back to some of those older versions where they used to combine some of the rails. But still, we've got 44 amps on that 12-volt rail, which is going to give you 528 watts. So that really is probably going to be enough for most kind of moderate systems. Again, do check your processor, do check your motherboard and components, and obviously if you're using a graphics card, definitely check what your graphics card needs or what it can potentially pull into the system so you get your voltage right on your power supply. Now of course, if you wanted to, you can go further up the range on this. We're showing you the 550W one today. There are other versions available. There's a 650, 750, 850, etc, etc, all of which you can find from the links in the video description. So that is pretty much the power supply done and dusted. On this side you can see we've got this massive 140mm fan, and around the outside edge we've got this addressable RGB ring which illuminates, which again you've probably seen from some of the B-roll already. Nice looking power supply, got a decent bit of weight to it as well, which is always a good sign. And the PCB inside, which I'll try and give you some pictures of, has been particularly well engineered, and again has achieved that 80+ gold rating up to 91% efficiency. So yeah, it's ticking a lot of boxes so far. Let's take a look at some of the cables we get included in the package so you can see if it's going to be right for your particular build. So starting off with the cables, let's go with the most important one, or the main power cable. So this is your 24-pin power connection. This at first did confuse me a little bit because they both essentially look identical on both ends. What you want to look out for if you're installing one of these for yourself is one of the cables on the end has actually got the removable 20/24-pin connector which slides off the end there. So that is the one that goes into your motherboard, and the other end will go into the power supply itself, again into that back section. This is actually 600mm long, so nice decent length to it, using those really nice flat black cables, although there still is kind of two of them, so you might need a little bit of extra cable management or a couple of cable ties just to kind of train those into position. But yeah, I like these cables a lot, and 600mm, absolutely perfect length for me in my opinion. Whether your power supply is mounted in the top of your case or in the bottom of the case, this is going to reach it very, very easily. Moving on to the next most important one, which is going to be your EPS connector, which is for your CPU. So again, we've got that color-coded connection on the end here. So we've got a blue connection, which goes into the blue connection on the back of the power supply, as again, you're probably seeing from B-roll. This goes into an 8-pin connector. Again, this is split, so all you do is slide it apart and then you can have a 4-pin if you've only got a 4-pin. Although I think realistically, if you're buying this kind of level of power supply, it's very likely that your motherboard these days is going to have one of those 8-pin connectors. So that's absolutely brilliant. Again, 600mm, so again, power supply in the top, power supply in the bottom. This should reach the EPS connector very, very easily. Next up, we're going to go to the PCI Express connection. So this is going to be for your graphics cards. Now, there's only actually one of these cables included in the packaging, which kind of does hint towards the power rating. Obviously, if you're using two of these, your graphics card is going to be pulling probably a little bit too much juice for this kind of level of power supply. As you go up through the range, obviously you'll get an additional cable, etc, etc. This does actually have a secondary spur off of it. So you've got two 8-pin PCI Express connectors. Again, if you're only using the 6-pin version, which is slightly older, you can slide the extra 2-pin off of there. So this is a little bit shorter. So this is 550mm, and then you've got about another 4 or 5 inches there between the two. So if you're in SLI mode, which God help you if you are, but potentially if you wanted to, you could probably stretch between 2 SLI graphics cards, or realistically just 2 plugs next to each other on your graphics card. Again, we've got those flat black cables, so those are going to be relatively easy to cable manage. A couple of extra cable ties on here to kind of bundle it together should work wonders. Next up, we've got our peripheral connections. So these are our SATA plugs. Now again, similar sort of deal. So we've got a 6-pin connector, which goes into the ID/SATA connections on the back of the power supply. And on this particular one, we've got 3 of your SATA type connections, and there is also a Molex on there as well. Similar sort of deal, so 550mm, and then we've got 6 inches between each of the individual connections on there. So yeah, pretty decent long cable. And actually in the packaging, you get 2 of these. So if you've got a whole bunch of SATA drives, it's absolutely fine. You can plug those in. This particular cable is slightly different. So this one only has the 3 SATA connections on. So this one doesn't have a Molex. So if you're trying to tidy up your build perhaps, and maybe you've got a slightly older case which has a Molex connector for RGB, etc., then this cable would be beneficial. If you're going with a slightly more modern system where you've got perhaps one of those Corsair fan controllers, that kind of thing, or even actually one of Gamemax's own, which use a SATA connection, then you can just use that and plug in maybe 1 or 2 drives as well. Again, being fully modular, you can choose which cables you use and which ones you don't. Talking of cables that you probably don't want to use, and this is the last one. So this is our kind of what I would consider a legacy connector. This is the IDE connector. So this again, 6-pin connection going into the back of the power supply. And on this, you've got 2 Molex connections. So that's the 4-pin Molex. And also for the really old school amongst you, we've got a floppy drive fan connector or fan controller connector. You don't use these very often. And actually a lot of power supplies now either completely omit that connection or have it as a separate kind of Molex to floppy drive connection. I guess depending if you're using that sort of thing, if you've got maybe a slightly older fan controller with all those knobs on the front to control tons and tons of fans, or maybe actually some PCI Express peripherals, such as USB cards or M.2 cards, that kind of thing, perhaps even Wi-Fi / Bluetooth cards. Quite often they will use additional power, and they possibly will use one of those. Often they'll be included in the box, but if they're not, at least you've got it there available should you need it. And again, this is the beauty of this power supply. It is fully modular, so choose whichever cables you want to use. If you don't want to use a certain lot, like this, don't use it, chuck it away. Well, probably don't chuck it away, put it in the box just in case you ever need it. So that is it for all the cables and all the specifications. Best thing now is to fire this sucker up and see what the RGB is like. Okay, so we've got the power supply connected up, although very rudimentarily. So we've got the main power cable going in, and what I've got is just the motherboard connection and also one of these kind of jumpers. These are really handy things to have for testing power supplies to make sure they work. You can, if you want to, use things like a paper clip or a piece of metal, but I find these to be actually a quite elegant solution. Put some links for those in the video description as well. They're very handy to have as a little tool in your PC toolkit. Anyway, so let's turn the device on. So all we need to do is on the back here, there is a power switch. So I'm just going to flick that across there. And there we go. It springs into life and you can see the RGB goodness shining through. And actually it does look quite nice. The spill actually onto the desk underneath, you can see. So if this was in your PC, you're probably going to see it shining through. Although for some of you, you may want to mount your power supply this way up. So you've got a little bit of RGB kind of showing into the case, maybe underlighting your graphics card, that kind of thing. Or maybe you've got a case where the power supply goes in on an angle like that, which I think would be extremely beneficial and would look really, really nice. So RGB spread, yeah, pretty decent, looks good. The camera actually does appear to be doing it justice. It does look pretty much to me on camera what I can see here, so that's really good. The colours are very vivid, nice and bright as well. And if you want to change the colours, you can do with the button on the back, as we've showed you a little bit earlier. So what we do is press the button in, and then you can cycle through those various RGB setups. These are very common to the kind of setups that you'll see on Gamemax cases as well, with their built-in controllers. So if you're trying to match that up, obviously a Gamemax case with a Gamemax power supply is going to work particularly well. So you can go through the various settings there. They're all kind of variations of the same thing, but you get the general idea. So multicolored there. That one is very common towards Gamemax cases with the kind of the mixture of all those colors there. And again, go through different styles. Realistically, I don't think you're going to probably see much of those different styles unless you've got the power supply facing towards you. But again, it's nice to have that little bit of extra light in your case. So more and more of the same thing. So we've got the red chase there, which changes through to green, etc. Then we've got the kind of the scroll around the outside edge, which changes color. And then this is just your very, very old school typical RGB where it just goes through the various colors. Again, this is going to match up with some of those older Gamemax peripherals and cases very, very nicely. And then again, more of the same sort of thing. Then you've got your static colors as well, so you can choose a static color if you wanted to. You've obviously got green, blue, yellow, pink, more magenta, I suppose you would call that. You've got the cyan, then you've got the white. The white actually looks really nice, and it's a really nice bright white. It's very slightly into the blue spectrum, but still does look pretty decent. And then we go back to the good old unicorn puke, which yeah, we all know and love. And actually it's probably one of the easier ones to match. If for some reason you don't want to have the lights on, you probably would, because you've obviously bought this power supply for that particular reason, or maybe you haven't, maybe you've just found it cheap and you don't want the RGB. Press and hold the button on the back for about 3 seconds or so, and it turns the RGB off. So if you just want a regular, decent quality 80 plus 550 watt power supply that is fully modular, but you don't want all the kind of fancy light in, just press the button, you can turn it off. Press the button again and it'll go back, and it'll go back into the previous setting. Fan wise at the moment it's difficult to tell because this isn't in a PC, so it's not got any proper draw on it. Obviously CPU connector, etc. is not on, but actually it does seem to be pretty quiet. So if I shut the hell up for a few seconds and I'll let you hear what the noise of the fan is like. This is approximately about 6 or 7 inches away from my microphone, so you will get a good idea of what it sounds like up close. Moving it away further, so approximately a meter. So there you go, you can get an idea of what it actually sounds like if you're going to use it. Putting it onto the desk actually, there's a very, very slight change in pitch where the vibrations are going through the desk, but very, very minimal. So it's actually a pretty decent, quiet power supply. But it's not my opinion that counts, it's yours. So let us know what you think about this one in the comment section below. Thanks again to Kieran for sending this one out to us. Do appreciate it. And I think that's going to wrap this one up. So I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.